Ladies without kids. If you are a lady without children, please leave these men alone who have kids. Use this post as a cautionary tale. So she posted this in the Am I the A-hole relationship subreddit, saying, Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend who has 3 kids after a year and a half of dating? I doubt that she's an a-hole, but let's look at it. So the boyfriend is 34, she's 36. She says, I have been dating my boyfriend for about a year and a half. He was very upfront from the beginning about having 3 kids, 6, 8, and 12, and that he lived with his parents because childcare was expensive, so they helped out. He also owns a home but wasn't living there at the time. About 6 months into dating, I moved into his house. Since he was staying with his parents, the house was empty, and I figured it would help save me money on rent. Over time, I had a few phone conversations with his kids, and a few months later, he invited me on their family vacation. The trip went well, and everything seemed fine. Then, at the end of July, I lost my job. Around the same time, he decided, without really consulting me, that he was moving his kids back into his house and transferring them to the local school district. I felt blindsided by this huge decision because it meant a drastic shift in our living situation. I went from living alone in his house to suddenly being in a full house with 3 kids, no job, and no real conversation about what this change meant for us. He now had a full time mom figure in his home. The next thing I knew, schools and doctors were calling me about appointments. And when I confronted him about it, I found out he had put me on their HIPAAs without even asking me. He expected me to take them to every doctor's appointment, every school event, and basically step into a full time parental role. On top of that, he expected the house to be cleaned and dinner to be cooked, all in exchange for him paying my monthly bills, which totaled $675. Man, that is a bargain. He has an administrative assistant. He has a chef. He has a housekeeper. He has a bang maid. He has it. This is a great package for $675. I get it. Woo. It didn't stop there. His youngest would wake up with night terrors like clockwork, and I was always the one getting up with her, not him. His 8-year-old, then at the time 7, would kick and hit my pets. Okay. His 12-year-old was super lazy with no responsibilities. The kids were consistently disrespectful, and I felt like I was drowning in a situation I never signed up for. And before anyone asked, where are the mothers? At the time, he only had sole custody of one child. From October 24 to January 25, legal proceedings began, and because I resided in the home, a judge court ordered me to provide a nail drug test for his custody case. It was after that he was awarded sole custody of his 2 youngest kids. I also want to point out that while I lived in his home, I contributed to the household bills like the electric and even part of the mortgage. I bought a new dishwasher and spent $3,000 on a shed to store belongings on the property. When I lost my job, I was only unemployed for 2 months before the instant mom mode was activated, and I felt like he knew that wasn't enough time to build a cushion of savings. Since being in this situation, I started going to therapy twice a month and even had to get medicated just to deal with the stress from his kids. The one bright side is that I managed to get a full time job and will be moving into my own place next month. But in the meantime, the house has become incredibly hostile. I ultimately decided to leave because I felt overwhelmed and unheard. I wasn't against him having his kids, but I wish we had discussed it more as a couple. He thinks I overreacted and abandoned him when he needed the support most. I feel like I was thrown into a situation I was never ready for. Am I the a-hole? This post was sent to me, and like I keep telling y'all, I don't really read the stories all the way through. I just start taking screenshots when I'm like, okay, cool, that would be a cool cautionary tale. I had no idea that she had to do so much for for the bargain basement price of $675 a month. I the audacity, and now he's feeling abandoned but the thing is, she didn't sign up to be an instant mom. She doesn't have kids, she has pets, and then the kid is sitting up there kicking her pet. The nerve. That would, I mean, I don't have any pets, but if I were a pet mom, I'm pretty sure that that would be enough to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Having doctors and the school call, that right there would be enough. I don't understand the thought process of this person. I don't, well, yes, I do. He thought that he deserved it. They see a woman of any, like at first it was probably his mom. Now it was her, like, cool, perfect. I'm going to tap into her time, energy, and resources. She's staying here. This is convenient. This is perfect. Didn't check with her or anything, but he just decided, cool. And this is the reason why, ladies, stop being available. She was too available. She thought that she was going to make it convenient. She was going to save some money, but she just made it convenient for him. And it inconvenienced her because she went off. I mean, she lost her job. So, and that was, I think she said July. That is a pretty substantial block of time that she's in a hostile, stressful environment. Absolutely not. Like I said, ladies, this is a cautionary tale. I don't care if this Am I the A-hole post is made up. I don't care if it's fictional. It's a reminder. We're having this conversation. Leave these men that have kids alone. Let them do their own parenting. They're always trying to drop their kids off on another woman. Stop doing that. Stop being their free resource or extra cheap resource. Make them pay for childcare. Make them clean their own homes. Make them do their own cooking. They act like they're inept. That's because they don't flex that muscle and do things themselves. Make them hold their own nuts. All right, let's look at some of these comments. Intolerable Femme says, all of this was imposed on you and never agreed to ahead of time. Once you were all moved in, he thought he had you trapped. You tried it out. It wasn't for you. And now he's trying to guilt you into making this a thing for the rest of your life because it benefits him exclusively. He has a bang maid at home that basically has to do anything he says in order to cover the $675 a month. That's nuts. You are right to find your self-respect and make other plans for yourself, not the a-hole. Singing in the Rain says, $675 is an absolute steal for a full-time live-in nanny who even does nighttime wake-ups, a full-time maid, chef, and chauffeur for the kids. It kind of sounds like he doesn't know how to parent. He moved in with his parents so they could take care of the kids and only moved back to his house when he figured the OP could take over. Now he's freaking out because he doesn't know how to handle his kids. That's why I said you have to make them do these things. Otherwise, they'll never flex that muscle and never learn how to parent their own kids. Electrical Tooth says, yes, but also an unwanted job and inexperience. But I agree he seems a little lost himself, especially with the fact that the 12-year-old doesn't help around the house. Wandering Dev says, not the a-hole. He was looking for a replacement mom and a bang maid. This isn't what you signed up for. Anaboli says, July? It's March now. You've been the acting mom for almost half a year. Do you actually have a job now? Not sure how much you were contributing to his mortgage because you won't be the co-owner unless your country has leeway on such laws. So that would have been considered a rental. Dishwasher for your own use. Shed for your storage, but should be claimable for him. Basically, you were mothering his kids for free room and board, but you're working for your meals and bills. Is it worth it? Hell no. Not the a-hole. Get a life anywhere else you can go and find a real job if you haven't. I can't imagine the disappointment in the kids if they were seeing you as their mother, though. Should have run earlier. Maybe she couldn't have. She didn't have a job. Ancient Star says, not the a-hole. He thought he had you trapped. All he wants is someone to take over parenting. He tried to dump his problems on you, but you bailed. Good for you. Girl Stiletto says, not the a-hole. He made a bunch of decisions for you without consulting you like a real partner would. He wanted you as a cheap live-in babysitter that he could bang when he wanted. Dump him and move on. You owe him and his kids nothing. Kat says, you became his bang nanny. Good for you for getting out. Everybody is saying the same thing. I'm glad that we're all using this language. No more being a bang maid, nanny, wife appliance incubator for these people. Stop doing it. It's not worth it, especially in this economy and this political climate. Hell no, not the a-hole. Anyways, let me know what you think about all of this. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.